crypto itself is a hedge, let's say, against fiat.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
But then, in addition to that, if you guys have the bag with the Bitcoin, the Ethereum in it, and that's basically all I have outside of Hex. And I think I have one other coin.
You have one other coin. I think you have some Hedgeron.
Yeah. So
perfect.
Outside of that,
welcome, Alex.
Yeah. I don't know who the fuck Alex is, but
founder of that token.
I got some G. But like, it kind of makes it fun. And you know the thing about a shitcoin that I'd like to ask you too,
please.
Yeah. Let's say I'm going to call it underwrite. So evaluate 10 shitcoins.
Right.
Bro, if you buy 10 of them, but one of them go to the moon and the other one's absolutely bomb, doesn't it? I mean, isn't that a hedge in itself for you?
In a way. So what you're talking about is more of like the diversification of like an angel investor or a VC.
I'm talking about putting it on red 10 times. And hoping.
So there's one fatal flaw with that logic, because that does work sometimes, but you can't just do it randomly. Because I've seen people, there's a lot of people in crypto that they basically have that strategy, but the one thing they forget is most of crypto is correlated to each other, right? And so since they act in unison a lot of the time, 5 of those bets might be basically the same bet. One of the jokes that we make about Ethereum.
That's a great point. You could say the same about currency.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Could you not though?
Yeah. No, I want to hear your take on that, actually.
I don't have much of a take other than I watched this documentary about how after the Bretton Woods Agreement and we went off the gold standard.
Right.
And countries realized that America was spending a lot more money than they suspected they had in gold. That they started to call for money. We went off the gold standard. And then some countries, like let's say China, if the dollar would go down, they would try to maybe depreciate their dollar to keep the gap so the trading would be profitable.
Yeah, the trade surplus.
Right, because what they have is communism, which is free labor. Right? I mean, call it a spade, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I asked the question, like, are they connected in that way? Do they like try to keep a ratio between one another?
So there's something we call Hart's law, right?
Okay.
Which is it has to do with what so in the stock market we have market orders and we have these books, right? So it's basically
the book is like the next one that's coming in.
The next one that's coming in, and then let's just say I have 100. I want to buy 100,000 stocks of this particular stock right here, and so what they'll do is like, okay, this guy wants to buy, cool, put him here, and then there's a bunch of these small fish and some big fish. This guy wants to buy 1,000, this guy wants to buy 10 shares, and then they order, and over time my order's filled, and then it's given out. But in crypto, we run off of that system on the exchanges. But in DeFi, when we're out here using Uniswap, or we're using like some of the how we were able to like 24/7 trade and stuff on chain, that it's correlated to either Ethereum or USDC, but it's all linked up with Ethereum and Bitcoin because if Bitcoin goes up 10%, Ethereum usually goes up about the same amount, maybe a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more. But here's how it works: is because everything is like linked up to Ethereum. Let's just say Ethereum Hex, Ethereum Doge as an example, right?
Right. Yep.
As Ethereum goes up, the way it works is an AMM is, I mean, this is kind of more advanced. I usually call them Miguel Bows or something.
What is an AMM? What does it stand for?
So it's an automated market maker,
there
right? And it's a decentralized DEX or a decentralized exchange. So
yeah, sometimes we assume a lot. People like understand the lingo.
This show could be good for some of the guys that don't understand crypto because I'll ask some questions that are super
it's massively important. I think that's really, and we want to, like, to be honest, I mean, you fucking know money, a lot more than a lot of other people. So we want to, get that info out of you for the audience as well.
It's fun. It's good stuff, man. I feel like if I do a podcast and I grow, that's a win-win every time. So yeah, it's good.
So the way structurally how the way crypto is formulated right now is if most pairs are usually Ethereum to a shitcoin, right?
Yep.
As an example, as Ethereum goes up, the algorithm or the AMM in there starts selling Ethereum off and buying up the coin, because basically it wants to have the same dollar value on both sides of the teeter-totter.
Mm-hmm.
If Ethereum doubles in price, it will sell half the Ethereum off, buy half of this coin automatically. No one's doing it, just itself. It's the algorithm, the computer, the matrix itself is selling off Ethereum to buy this up. But because it's such a small amount, it doesn't really affect the price of Ethereum. Right. It's just normal back and forth. So it ends up dragging up most of the market. So you end up having coins being 80% correlated to Ethereum. So when Bitcoin moves, Ethereum moves, and when Ethereum moves, the whole fucking market moves. And the beautiful thing is like, you know, that the whole 80-20 principle, right? I know it's not the perfect thing. It could be 70-30 really,
Right,
or whatever
yeah,
the hell.
yeah.
But let's just say 80-20, right? 80% of the coins keep up to the performance of Ethereum. Then that extra 20% of money there gets given to the top 100, top 50 coins. That's why you end up in the crypto space having some of these coins go like bananas. You had Hex do 10,000x. You had Shiba Inu. I mean, I know it's a little micro cap coin, but then it went to like the fucking moon. You end up having some coins that have product market fit that get that get that extra there.
Yeah. One last little key part of that equation that I think is important to know. This is kind of the fun part because it's really easy to see, which is USDC and any stable coins. As those come into the market more and more, what happens? Ethereum's price goes up, and then what he says basically just right there just happens more and more and more. It's a vicious cycle to what? Making a lot of money, right?
Making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right.
And so the Federal Reserve, if they print a lot too, then we're going to...
people get weary. Yeah, then they come in, right? Drives money in. So are we going to see another cycle where 20-year-olds start buying Lamborghinis again?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
it's going to happen every single cycle, and it's usually year 3 of the 4-year cycle.
Nice.
Yeah.
So 2 years, year.
Oh, year and a half, 2 years.
2025.
18 months.
Yeah. So
if we were going to go by, so there's different metrics you can look at. So if you're going to look at on-chain data, it would tell you want to start taking profit around February of 2025, like aggressively, and it might be earlier than most people in the market will want to, and a lot lower than probably the targets that people think we're going to get to, because everybody always says we're going to go like 3 or 4 or 5 times higher than we do, right? And so, the exuberance, you can see kind of at that point in the market usually gets crazy. And then around, so if it were to act similar in time to the last market, then, which the last 2 have, then essentially that would be around, you'd be taking profit probably pretty much the entire year of 2025, but there's going to be a lot of volatility in there. And it's going to be at like, in terms of where it's going to be for Bitcoin, all I could say is more than likely above $100,000. And if we get anywhere near 200, I mean, I'll be happy.
Yeah,
that's great.
I mean,
right?
we're talking like major money, but let me put a little bit of a caveat here on one thing. So I have a bit of this is more of a theory of me just being in the crypto space for such a long time now that I call it cycle theory, is that we end up getting whatever the past cycle was, the next one is just a squared version of it, an amplified version. If you end up having a cycle full of frauds and bullshit, the next one's going to be even bigger before it collapses and you get something